All right, we've got a double wide manufactured home here that we are designing an NFPA 13D sprinkler system for. We've already kind of marked out a few things, like where the areas where we don't want to put sprinklers, and some interesting things, I guess. Thinking about how laying out a manufactured home like this is different than maybe a traditional house is. This is a double wide, so it's basically like two pieces, right? That we basically treat to some degree like each piece, like a single wide, gets installed in the factory, and then there's a single connection between the units that's done in the field. And we do this for a few different manufacturers, and they have kind of, the methods that they use to connect in the field varies. But we'll just kind of, we're just going to pretend this one is the way it is. I don't want to give away any trade secrets or anything. So let's go ahead and get started. So basically, let me see, I've got a little, this might help. Where are we at? There we go. Now you can see my mouse better. Let me find my CAD tools on my Stream Deck. Here we go. So this basically is one half of the double wide. This is like one single wide unit here, and this is one single wide unit over here, and this is the marriage wall. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to find the centers of these rooms to start laying out the heads. So I'm just drawing construction lines with this layer that we call the reference layer that doesn't print. That way, if I forget to delete any of these lines, it won't be a big deal, not an issue. And I just, again, using the line command to make a diagonal line to go through all these rooms quickly. Now I'm not, let's see, I'm going to do one right here on this half of the room. This hallway here is a little bit of an L shape, and half of it is in one half of the double wide, the other half's in the other side. So this side over here is wider, so I'm going to try, I think I can just put one sprinkler on this side and it'll cover over into this area. In fact, we may even do, I don't know, we'll see how it works out, but we may do our crossover connection at this point if it's convenient, so we could just kind of pick up that head on the same line. But let's keep going here. Now this is a big open room from here to here, but I'm going to treat each portion of like each single wide section as its own room for this portion, because I suspect we're going to end up needing heads on both sides. They do have a little bit of a funky ceiling in the kitchen. They're always super shallow. They've got some sort of faux beams going on because they don't have much room to play with to put this stuff in, so it's usually not much of an issue. We usually just try and space the heads so that they are in the middle of these beams, and it's usually not a problem. They don't really give us any more information about them for the design, so if it ever is, the guys in the field will alert us and we'll do a change, but that's really unusual. Usually these features are pretty minimal and they don't really obstruct sprinkler flow. For the most part, we just try to design, if we can, in a way where it doesn't matter either way. right, this is a big bathroom they've got here with a sauna in it. Just a step-in sauna that seems to be popular in these manufactured homes for some reason. There's a big walk-in closet. This must be the master unit down here. And so I'm going to kind of end up with this like long hall space here that's kind of open to this other area. It might be kind of tricky. We'll see. And then there's kind of a little alcove here we got to make sure we're spraying into. It's mostly, looks like it may be completely filled with cabinets, but again, we don't have complete, we don't have enough information to know for sure. So when we're placing heads in this hallway, we'll try to make sure that they spray into there just in case. And once I got all of these, yeah, that looks good. So I've got some head symbols over here. This is just our standard. We're going to be using what are we going to use? This is going to be a Senju 4.9 K factor concealed pendant. And there will be we'll have to use a couple high temperature heads as well, or intermediate temperature. And so we'll use this alternate symbol here for those. So I'm going to select this one to begin with and just start copying it and dropping it on these lines that we place here. And I have my endpoint, midpoint, and center snap. Oops, I missed one there. Control Z. And so I just touch the line kind of near the middle till I see that little triangle pop up, and that lets me know that I've got a good midpoint snap. And obviously, these ones in the lights are not going to stay there. It's kind of like this is just a way to get the heads dispersed. Now I'm going to select this construction line and do layer isolate. I'm going to get rid of these now. Go to layer unisolate. Okay, so now I'm also just going to we'll go ahead and put this. I'm just going to, let's see where our risers are also. This manufactured home is going to California. These are being manufactured in a plant in another state and shipped to California. Do these get shipped all along the West Coast? All the way up to Alaska once in a while. So this is where the riser is going to be. They put these exterior accessible water heater spaces, and we just, shove the riser in this corner. And let me think about this. So actually, let's put it in this corner, and then I'll put the sprinkler in this other corner over here. This is just a water heater, but we're just going to use an intermediate temperature head to make sure it is good. Using F8 to make this straight, and I'm just going to go 9 inches off the wall. It actually doesn't have to be that far, but actually I'm going to do 6 because it looks like it's too far over that water heater. But it just looks really close to the wall, but it isn't really. It's just because the symbol is so oversized. But sometimes plans examiners get hung up on that. It's not really that close to the wall, though. This is kind of interesting, though. These manufactured homes, there is a, the different manufactured home plants have these engineering firms that they hire, and they do all the inspections. And at the end, when the manufactured home gets delivered, there's going to be a plate on there, and it's going to have, the stamped seal of approval from this engineering firm that's going to be the equivalent of, all of your inspections that were, cover inspections that would have happened if, normally if this was a stick-built thing, and then you just have your final inspections all done once the thing is on site and assembled. Let's see. And so that engineering company is also the one that reviews the plans and stuff. It's kind of an interesting process. Okay, let me grab my riser symbol. And drop it right here. Escape. Oh, what's going on? Got some flies going on here tonight. Alright, that's 6 inches, and now that riser is lined up with that head, so we'll just come straight through here and pick up that head. Let's see, and then this one has a flat ceiling. Sometimes I'll have a slope ceiling, so we gotta, consider the spacing along the slope, but we don't have to worry about that here. So we're doing 16-foot spacing. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna draw a construction line. I'm gonna do nearest right here, and I'm gonna go 8 feet, enter. I'm just going to draw a line across here. We've got ortho on to make sure it's straight. And I'm going to do one down here as well. And 8 feet, enter. That looks good. Select, delete. All right, so now I'm just going to churn that into a pipe. And now I'm just going to grab all of these heads, grab them by this grip in the middle, and pull them into this pipe. I'm using the perpendicular object snap to make them go straight onto the pipe that I drew. This is the perpendicular object snap right here. I know I didn't click it. There we go. And then I just grab that grip in the middle, which initiates the stretch command. Well, maybe this helps a little. There's the perpendicular. And I just kissed that line. I forgot I can do that. I gotta remember to get my mug out of the way there. Just gonna grab them on this side and bring them this direction. Just working my way down the line. And let's see, this is just kind of like a starting point, just kind of starting to get the heads laid out here. That's looking fairly good. I think I need, let me get out of my zoom situation here. That's probably, might be annoying, I'm not sure, we'll see. So what I want to do, I see a couple areas that may be issues. Well, that's definitely a problem. I moved that right into the wall. Plus, this is a big room. I need to do some measurements. Let's see here. How far are we spanning this massive bathroom? The master bathroom? 21 foot 9. Yeah, we definitely need a couple sprinklers in there. We're good widthways. Both halves of this are only like 13 feet wide, something like that. Let's see. Inside. 13.7, so that's why we're off center when we went 8 foot off of the outside wall. Okay, this one's good. I can tell. Let's see. We might need 2 heads in the kitchen. Looks, it's really hard to know. There's definitely some sort of pass-through bar thing. It's really hard to know if it's completely open. There may be cabinets above blocking. Let's see, I want to go to here. All these measurements I'm putting here, they're on this reference layer, so they won't print. This is just for my reference. Alright, this is a big laundry room too. Not too big, I guess. Alright. What else we got? Anything else look questionable? That's plenty. What do we got here? There's some sort of lintel or beam there. Alright, let's see if how can I do this systematically? Let's see. We max this head out off of this wall, I think. Let me come out of the riser this way. Let's go. That looks good. 5 feet. Perpendicular. Oops. Trim. Select the cutting edge. Now I'm going to do property painter. Turn those into pipes. Need to run a little pipe from here over. Property painter. Alright. We need a couple heads in here. We got this fireplace that's a little bit of an issue. Can't get too close. We got the fan. Got to avoid. 13D says that you got to avoid 3 foot from the center of a fan, which is different from what 13 says about fans. 13, I don't remember the exact thing, but it's something like, you can basically be in the fan pattern as long as it's like at least 50% open or something like that. Can't do that in 13D. You have to be at least 3 foot from the center no matter what. Let's see. I want to get as close to this fireplace as I can. I could go closer than this if we wanted to up the temperature of the heads. But I want to go as close as I can to this as possible to give myself some room. So I'm going to need 2 heads. So I don't know. 4'6" is not bad. Doesn't like that way. why it wants me to do it in inches that time. 54 inches, the same thing. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to go copy. And 8 feet is the minimum for these residential heads. So I'm just going to start with that. And we might, I might have to leave it as that, because one thing, I don't know, if this is open or not. And we're going to need 2 heads in here as well. So, I want to keep this as far back as possible so I can keep a minimum of 8 feet in here. That's kind of the biggest problem you have in a house, is just the funky spaces, the way they're split up. And plus on like the residential heads, you got to be a little further apart. 8 feet instead of 6 feet on a commercial head. Let's go 48 inches and then copy 8 feet. This green thing is a kitchen island below, I believe. Okay, that looks plenty good. So let's try and center these a little bit better. What's this dimension over here? We're gonna probably have to put, that's good. I think we might end up with 2 heads in here though, just because of the lost my thought. Because of the fan, because we need to avoid the fan. Okay, 8 foot enter. I'm just gonna max out that way, and then if I do TR trim, so even if I put that head there, like it would technically be legal, but oh man, it's just like, it's totally fine really, like, because the head's oversized, but generally in these situations I just do 2 heads. It's just too, I mean, we could put it off to this, no we can't, because it's already maxed out 8 foot both ways. And it's really just better to do 2 heads in a situation like this. So I'm going to go 48 and copy. And stretch that pipe out. Okay. Now what do we got here? 7.6, that's a problem. Even though there's, it looks like there's a lintel there. That's probably good. That one's more obvious. This is not clear. That looks like it could be something with that line. But I'm not sure. That could be underneath, representing like a half wall with this as a bar over the top. Yeah, that kind of is what that looks like. I think this might be just an open pass-through. And I don't see any indication of a header. Okay, so wow, what far apart are these? 12.2. Okay, we got plenty of room there. Well, plenty is relative. I think that if we split these beams here, let's do that. Splitting this space in half. And then aligning that sprinkler with it, and then let me try an even number. So let me split this space. Okay, that's 8'9", so that's good. All right, so this half is good. All right, so let's get this half dialed, and I mean, I guess we kind of got this area still. It's not totally covered, but you know, roughly it's good. Okay, let's max out our 8 feet here too. 8 foot enter. Trim. And delete these, and then just move this head to there, and that one's totally fine with that fan. And then also it, you know, it's spraying into this area. You know, if it was over here, this would be a legal shadow area, but this, we just don't have to worry about it this way. It's better. And this one's good. This one's reasonable. I might want to, let me see, I'm going to just select it. Go perpendicular. And then go 8 feet. That way I'm not lined up with that head anymore. But I'm going to pull it back towards this wall so it's out of the way. Let's see, that's about a foot. Let's go with that. I don't know, we might just leave it. We'll see. We have to connect across somewhere, but I'm not sure if we want to do it in this spot or out here. It's nice to do it in like an open ceiling area, because this company does it after the two pieces are brought to site and set up. There will be some seaming of the sheetrock, you know, some mud and tape work that's to be done on site. And so they have us leave a pipe out of the ceiling really close to there. And the guy on site, you know, cuts the sheetrock out around there, cuts those off. Like, we basically elbow down with just a drop nipple with a cap on it, just to mark where it's at. The guy on site comes out with the sheetrock saw and just makes a big enough hole around it so that he can reach up in there, cut those 90s elbows off, and then use a coupling and glue the two sides together. And then when the sheetrockers come in and, you know, join the two sides together, that's not that much, oops, sorry about that. That's not that much work, more work, you know, to patch up that little bit of hole right there. So that's how these guys approach it. It's, you know, different other manufacturers. There's some pretty wild ones, to be honest with you. There's, I don't know, it's kind of crazy. There's one manufacturer that makes this hatch in the roof. It's, I don't even want to, it's just wild. Does not make sense, but that's the way they like to do it. All right, let me get back on track here. I want to max out this head from this wall just to, or this, what are we calling it? Lintel. Just to minimize my shadow area over here. So that's good. Now I know I'm going to end up with a couple heads here. Yeah. How far am I here? This might be a problem. Not yet. You got to be 8 feet from these ones. There's no lintel here. This is a double wall that they, you know, for the structure of these things to go down the highway, they need this little bit of wall on each side here, you know, to support it independently till it gets assembled together. And you end up with these marriage walls, double thick. Let's see, I've got a head in the walk-in. This is theoretically good, but it's pretty questionable. What does it look like if I max out my 8 feet over here? Oh boy, it looks looks about the same as that other one. Okay, here's the problem. I mean, we've got a legal shadow area, but that don't mean everybody is gonna like it. Right here, we can do our area that is 1.5 square feet. I think 5's the max allowable. So that's good. Okay. Let's just roll with it. I mean, that kind of... I feel like if we're going to do the 2 heads there, I was worried that I was worried we were going to end up doing 2 heads here if we did that, and then really need one down here, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. No matter if we move this to the left, it's going to increase the shadow area there, but it's still going to be well under 5 feet. So this is going to get this room good and wet. All right. I think the only thing left is, well, this hallway and this bathroom. Okay, let's do this bathroom real quick. Real quick. I don't think anything about this has been real quick. My recording is already way longer than I expected. But you can tell it's, you know, we're not that far away from being designed. It hasn't been that long. How do I want to do this? Let's just try 48 and 8. And that's, I don't want to be by that sauna. Definitely not. Let's see, we got a lot of room. Let's go another 24 inches. So now we're at 10 feet. Let's go to 12 feet. That's 24. Now we go on into this toilet area, no problem. Let's move down this way a little more. I hate to put these big arm overs, but I guess it does make sense in this situation. I'm going to go from the center to perpendicular to this wall. Gives us good coverage around the corner. Got coverage into the shower area. Yeah, that looks good. I don't like having, oops, big arm overs. But I'll get over it. Oh, shoot, that's not what I want. Pipe, there we go. All right, so the only thing left is this hallway. What are we gonna do? We need, no matter how we look at it, 2 heads. Let's just start moving it. That's gonna mess up our thing though. I know it's gonna put us too close. Yep. Well, that one's okay. That's interesting. All right, let's max out 8 foot this way. I like that. I'm gonna move these together. Okay. Wow, 8'1" is fairly good. barely not good, but that one's easy enough. Let's see, there's also, what else could I do? I think I can move them this way a little bit. I just don't like being, let's see, what if I go this way? 24 inches, it's gonna put me closer. Don't like that, but let's go down 12. Okay, both of these are good now. But how far are we from this wall? I don't need those dimensions anymore. Let's see, these are 10. Oops, why did I switch to pipe? About, that's 8. Okay, a little too far from there. So all we need to do is move this to the left to alleviate the problem. Let's go. Does that look good? I don't know, it doesn't matter. 24, close enough. Okay, let's call it a day. I think we can get rid of these dimensions. All right, where are we going to cross over? This area looks the most open near the, I mean, this isn't bad too. I'm going to do it right here. This is close to the middle too. It'll be good hydraulically. Just go 18 inches. I'm going to use match properties. All right, so now there's my piping laid out. So let's go ahead and get some dimensions going. So I'm going to switch now to my dim pipe layer and to my MCAD sprinkler pipe. And let's start with a dim linear. Let me do this little guy first. Now select those and layer isolate. And so let me just do all these little stubby ones first. Or I guess, I mean, this one's not stubby. Just the short ones. Oops, I gotta. I was gonna go across at one of these. I wonder if I should do that. Save a couple feet of pipe. That's really not a good place. If I was going to do it, this is the ideal one because it's close to the middle. That one wouldn't be bad though. But I don't think it's... I think it's good the way it is. Alright, let's go back to layer isolate. Let's get some dimensioning done. This is taking forever. Alright, I do all of the single ones first. And then the ones that are multiple lines, I use the, dim continue button. That makes it go pretty fast. You just have to, once you're using dim continue, you just have to click one time on each point. Start with dim linear to get it established, which takes 3 points, and I just missed that last one, but I can still fix it. Now that it's in the correct spot, I go to dim continue, and it just carries on from there, and I just click it one time at each interval. And I'm just using center object snap for the heads and endpoint snap for the ends of the lines. It wants to continue now, but I hit escape. And now I'll go layer on isolate. I mean, we're pretty much laid out at this point. And what else could we demonstrate? You know, we could throw some nodes on here. That would be the next thing I do. You know, we're coming in right here. This is the supply riser. And we're traveling through, coming across. The hydraulically most remote area is going to be this room down here. We'll calc these two heads at 16 by 16 foot spacing, the 4.9 K factor sprinkler, and it'll get installed in the factory and get shipped out. One thing, you know, on these is kind of interesting. You know, it's hard for us to verify water flow information on every site location, and who knows where they are going to sell these things. So they are required to provide us with, you know, what water flow information they have, you know, and it's not always good. You know, sometimes it's complete, sometimes it isn't. So we try to design to what they give us. If it'll work, great. If it won't, we tell them, hey, this didn't work, but this is what we think you could change to make it work, or, you know, whatever, those types of things. But if not, you're going to have to end up using a tank and pump. Sometimes they'll tell us right off the bat they know they don't have very good water or whatever. It's a well with poor water. And so they just tell us do a tank and pump. But we don't spend any time really investigating hydrant flow information, because it's just, you know, this is, you know, I don't know, we're about a half an hour it took us, you know, I've been gabbing too, but actual design work, that's, you know, the majority of this job. There's not much to it. You know, dotting the T's, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, all that stuff for plan review, getting the address on there, the owner's information. You know, that takes a little bit of time, but not much. And, you know, they don't, as you could imagine, they don't want to pay a lot for these types of things. Of course, nobody wants to pay a lot for anything, right? But, you know, so we just can't spend a lot of time investigating water flow information. There's just not the money in it. So we just tell them, hey, this is what we need. And, you know, it's basically usually filled out by a salesman, I think, somewhere. And, you know, about half the time they fill it out pretty well. And half the time we just say, hey, the information you sent us is not accurate or complete or something. And we think you're going to need to use a tank and pump unless you can figure out what's going on with the water flow information. But anyway, that's it, guys. A little peek into designing a sprinkler system into a double wide manufactured home. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Check out the next video and like and subscribe while you're at it. Talk to you later.